This video will address questions that may arise when you're creating DXF files from a third-party CAD software for importation into Gravostyle or Laserstyle with the intent of assigning different processing parameters by color contour. This is relevant for IS engraving and routing systems being driven by Gravostyle software and gantry and galvo-based laser systems. To understand the needs for the DXF file being created, we must understand how Gravostyle looks at the files or looks at the contours. So Gravostyle or Laserstyle is going to look at the color assignment of each contour, and then based on that color assignment you can apply filled contours, a widened contour that receives a heavier weight engraving, or in the third column a cutting contour, fourth column a vector contour. So either cutting or vector could be assigned. One may be assigned so that the cut is just a thin line cut into the material. Another may be assigned to cut completely through the material. And then the fifth option is to perforate the material, and this is especially useful when processing packaging that you just want to have a fold point. Okay, so within your CAD software, you'll need to create each of the layers and contours that you desire to process based on this color table, this RGB color table. So when the importation occurs coming from the AutoCAD program, the lines need to match within these RGB values to be a red, green, blue, magenta, black line, etc. So you'll need to adopt this color palette. Also, each of the different colors of contours, or cut lines, if you will, that would be one color, filled raster engraving that would be a second color. Each of those needs to be prepared in a separate layer within the DXF file so that they are not merged together when they're imported into Gravostyle or Laserstyle. Okay, and if you desire a contour such as a circle to be a filled contour in Gravostyle or Laserstyle, then that needs to be a contour that is a single contour coming out of the CAD program. So control points need to be merged instead of a circle being 4 quarter radiuses that are setting joined next to each other. Okay, that's a common mistake that could affect your outcome in your DXF file. So the RGB table that is shown correlates to the colors assignments that are assigned within the software once the DXF file is imported. Those then translate over to the L Solution lasering page to populate the colors within the L Solution page. So within the L Solution page, you're then able to assign power, speed, number of processing passes, focal offsets, air assist, whether it's raster engraving, vector, cutting, etc., along with a full other range of processing parameters for that job. So looking within Gravostyle now, let's import in a file. So I'm going to either do Control I or come over to Import. And if Import isn't available to you here, make sure that you're in the selection mode and not in the text mode. So I'm going to go and find the DXF file that I desire, select it, and I want to use New DXF as my processing filter. A common mistake would be to leave the setting for all image files or all surface files, and you definitely need to come in and select the DXF filter or whatever filter is the file format that you're bringing in. You will just see better results as opposed to having the software use the first filter it finds that's compatible with that image. So we'll import this in. It's going to now ask us if we want it to merge the different contours And in this case, I'm going to have it go ahead and merge any contours that are within like 0.004 of each other. I also know that this CAD drawing is in millimeters, so I'm going to select millimeters. I want to turn off merge layers. I do not want it to take each color layer found within that DXF and compress them into one layer. That would destroy my different color assignments per layer. So I'll hit my check mark, allow Laserstyle to bring that image in. Now that my image is in, I can see that I have 3 different layers that were brought in with this drawing. And in the current screen setting, I'm viewing all 3 layers together. So if I take my checkbox away from the window, then now I can look at each layer individually. And I can see that each layer has some different assignments to it. Okay, so it respected color assignments. Now I can reassign color once it's within the software. So if I select this layer, that's the 3rd layer, and I come over and assign it perhaps a green color, then it respects that color assignment. Okay. My black colors automatically were assigned up here to be filled closed contours and widened contours, so any thin lines were lasered widened. And on my first layer, the magenta color automatically will be assigned over here to be vector cut. So that will be cut out lines. Okay. So now that each of my layers is in, I can select to view all layers together if I want to see the stacked layers as they'll be processed. So the next step would be to go and select my lasering interface for L solution. I can affect any changes that I need to have within this tab, or in the case of this CAD file, I have set up a user-defined setting up here so that in my drop-down menu, anytime that I'm processing a CAD file, that I know that I have assigned black for filled contours and widened contours. I have assigned magenta as my cut lines, and then the green color layer is going to be filled. Then I can just select this CAD file and it will set the parameters that I've saved. So this is a convenient way to make your workflow more consistent and a little faster. So I have different settings, and you can see that parameters change based on which menu I select. Okay. And with that, I'm ready to send the job over to the laser and process my work.